أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Believers, we are still in Kufa, and here where we are now is the shrine of Umayyad ibn Ziyad. We shall be talking about him. First and foremost, Umayyad ibn Ziyad was one of the greatest companions of Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. Umayyad is known to have been taught the dua Umayyad, which most of the Shias recite and some other believers. First and foremost, the origin of dua Umayyad, it was revealed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and given to Nabi Hizr. Then from Nabi Hizr, it came like that Prophet Muhammad taught it to Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib, and Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam taught it to Umayyad ibn Ziyad. And the dua Umayyad is one of the important du'as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and dua Umayyad is one of the important du'as, as we saw that in Surah Al-Ghafir. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that ud'uni astajib lakum, supplicate to me and I answer you. Therefore, we feel that this dua, which was taught to Umayyad ibn Ziyad by Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, has got a lot of merits. Number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prevents you from the plots of the enemies, boosts your sustenance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts your prayers in case you happen to recite this dua, as is being mentioned in Bihal Anwal and Mafatihul Jinan. To go on, after having spoken something about this dua Umayyad, we've got some shurut of dua. The condition is to dua acceptance. First and foremost, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we saw in Surah Al-Ghafir verse number 16, He says, Ud'una astajib lakum, innal ladhina yastakbiruna an ibadati sayadkhuluna jahannama dakhirin. Number one, what we learn from this verse, Allah's made calling Him, supplicating to Him to be mandatory, and therefore those who are proud, who is takabbur, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised to throw them in hellfire. Therefore, the first condition to do acceptance, number one, you shouldn't be having takabbur, arrogance. So in case you pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are reciting dua Umayyad and different supplications, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers you. Number two, intercession. In the process of when you're supplicating to Allah, it's better you intercede via the Al-Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told those are some of the sinful sahabas to go to Prophet, say that he can pray for them before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in case they had done so, they would have found the mercy of Allah. But then they were arrogant and takabbur. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Munafiqun promises never to forgive them in Surah Al-Munafiqun verse number 6. To go on, still, when you're supplicating to Allah, you should be having taqwa. Taqwa is trying to be obedient, to be pious, not to sin, and in order to maintain all Allah's orders. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still says in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse number 27, that innama yatakabbalu minal muttaqin. Therefore, when you're supplicating, you should be having taqwa in order for your dua to be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another condition of dua acceptance is according to what we learned from our mother Fatima Zahra alayhi salam. One day she used to supplicate, she used to pray Salatul Layl and the rest. And came Imam al-Hassan, who asked her that, Mom, why do you always pray for the neighbors? Why don't you mention us in prayers? Why do you make us to be lasting? Fatima Zahra told him that Ajar thumma dar. We first start with neighbors, then followed by our household, our people in the family. Therefore, in case you want your dua to be accepted, always start with neighbors, and the rest, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers your dua. Another point to dua acceptance is al-buka'u. Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam says, al-buka'u min khashyati ar-Rahman miftah ar-Rahman. That in case you're supplicating to Allah, always try to shed some tears. When you're reciting dua Umayyad, which reached us via Umayyad ibn Ziyad, try to cry. All the prophets used to cry while supplicating. Look at Nabi Nuh. He was given Nuh because the word Nuh comes from the word Nuh, which implies weeping. You understand, crying. He used to cry so much when he used to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another point to dua acceptance is what we call a tazkiyah, that soul purification. In case you're reciting du'as like a dua Kumail taught to us by Kumail ibn Ziyad, who is resting in this holy place, and the other du'as, Ziyaratul Waritha, and the others, we should always have tazkiyah. What is tazkiyah? What is tazkiyah? Soul purification. But then under tazkiyah we have tazkiyah, which is zahir, and we have what we call batin tazkiyah. Zahir tazkiyah is that ablution you get before supplicating. Therefore, in case you're gonna pray to Allah, always try to be pure, to be in a state of wudu and the rest. Then there is what we call batin. You understand that tazkiyah, which is batin, which is inside, soul purification, cleaning your soul, taking jealous out of your soul and the rest, corruption, lying and the rest. In case you try to do this, my respected brother and sister, in case we try to do this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shall accept our prayers. To end with, Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib tells us that man qara'a bab Allah futiha lahu. Whoever knocks on the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah answers him, Allah opens for him. Therefore, as we're having a lot of challenges, one of the most recommended supplications is dua Kumaili, which reached us via Kumaili ibn Ziyad, who was buried here in Najaf. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.